Hello and welcome to Domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug was given to me by my oldest daughter, I believe. I had all three of my daughters gave me coffee mugs for Christmas this year, so I got a total of 5 coffee mugs. But this one, as you can see, is a cat. Let's see if I can hold this without burning myself. There we go. Let's do this. And you can see the handle is his tail. On the inside, see if I can tip this, you can see there's 2 little paw prints. And on the back, it says, meow. Anyway, it's a beautiful mug, and she also gave me another one that is specifically for loose teas. It has a one of the things inside of it to hold your tea in it. It looks really cool. Can't wait to try that one soon. Today's tea I actually took from my middle daughter's, We spent Christmas over there. She had a couple of teas I hadn't tried. This one is Bigelow Benefits Chamomile and Lavender. It says it has chamomile, wild orange leaves, passion flower, lavender, red poppy flowers, natural lavender, and rose flavors. And at the top it says sleep. So hopefully it don't make me too sleepy. I have no milk in my tea. We're out of milk in the house. Love to have milk in my tea, but I do have sugar. So let's give this chamomile and lavender a taste and see how we like it. Oh, that's nice. Getting a touch of that orange. Oh, I like that. I like that. That's nice, even without the milk. I've tried another lavender tea, a lavender tulsi, I believe, from Stash. It's okay. It wasn't anything that I was overly impressed with. This one's really nice. I'm going to have to pick some of this up for me, I think. Maybe. I get so many teas. Maybe. We'll see. Alrighty, so this rather dramatic look, you'll actually see me putting together in another video later. My hair. Good. It's actually timely for it to be like in my face since we're going to talk about it today. But like I said, this rather overly dramatic look I did do on camera, and it should come up later. I filmed it before this. But today we are here to talk about my hair. And one of the things that I want to do also is I want to measure, I guess. And I've been told that there's a couple different ways that people can do this, but we'll just go ahead and do the 2 that I've seen. I believe she does it once without pulling it straight, and then the other one you pull it straight. And that would be Lydia. She's the first person I ever saw measure the growth of her hair. So let's measure the growth of my hair, starting from about the crown and going down. This is kind of hard. I'm doing this by my ear. It's actually going to be longer in the back. I'm going to mark it right there. And this says my hair is about 12 1/4 inches curled up like this. It's the first time I've ever done this, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like next year. So the next one you do, you pull your hair out so you don't have the curl. And we will go to there, and that says I'm at 13 3/4 inches. So when my hair pulled out fully straight, it's 13 3/4 and 12 1/4. So there's about 1.5 inches difference between the curl up and when it's straightened out. I wonder if I should measure it wet at some point. I don't know, but anyway. So that's the length of my hair right now. We'll see where we're at next year when I do it again. That's kind of my plan, is to sort of track it over a year rather than, I thought about 6 months, but, we'll just go over a year because it's kind of boring. Over the past year, we've all seen the curl improve as I've started to take care of it with my curl box. This winter, it was really starting to be very, very frizzy. I hadn't changed much in what I was doing. I'd changed a couple of products, but even when I went back to the products that I was used to using, I was getting a lot of that frizz. And last night I tried a whole different thing that suggested that would help with the frizz, and that was to make sure my hair was much wetter than what I'd been doing. And that seems to have helped with the frizz. I mean, I've still got a little bit of flyaway going on. If you look in there, you can see there's still a little bit of flyaway. But this is nothing like what it was before. I mean, I had a frizzy halo. And in fact, if you look in the last few videos of 2018, you'll see that I had a frizzy halo, a lot of it. So basically what I've done is I've taken my Shea Moisture Milk. It is now sitting in my shower because that's when I wash my hair. I generally don't wash my hair in a sink. And when I get out of the shower, when I'm ready to get out of the shower, I put in the milk before I wring anything out, and I squish it up, you know, kind of plop it a little bit with my fingers, squish it all up, squish the milk into it. And then I don't wring my hair out, and I go and I put in the rest of my product with my hair wet. If my hair starts to dry out a little bit, I would spray it to make sure it stayed wet. And making sure that it was really wet, really, when I put in the product, has made a huge difference. I wasn't doing that before because, well, a couple of reasons. One, most people who do that in their shower, and they're leaning over in their shower. I can't do that. It hurts. I do have some back issues, and having to do all that without any real support just doesn't work for me. So yeah, don't want to do it in the shower. And then I didn't want to create a big puddle on my bathroom floor. I actually had my hair really, really wet last night, and I didn't see any puddling. And like I said, if it started to see a little bit of frizzing right there, if it started to dry out a little bit, I would get it wet again, and that was fine. So that seemed to work without getting, you know, a lot of water on my floor. Secondly, the other reason was a couple of products that I use, my almond marshmallow serum and my curl plumper, do seem to add a lot of juicy wetness to my hair when I put them in. So I was hoping that that would be enough. Apparently not. This is the best my curl has looked in at least a couple of weeks, if not, you know, a couple of over a month, because the winter has just been, it's been brutal. I'm going to keep doing that. It worked really well last night, and it also made it easier to finger curl in some ways. So I'm going to keep doing that, and we'll see how that continues to help improve my curl and reduce the amount of frizz and flyaway I get. And yeah, so I'm really pleased that I tried that and learned yet something new. Make sure your hair is really wet. So what are some other things that I have started to see in the changes of my hair and have learned about my hair over the last, you know, couple of months? For one, it is starting to clump more. And last night when I did it wet, it clumped even better. One of the things, if you notice in my hair, for example, okay, so down here, I have this big curl. I have a couple of really big curls. These were clumping just fine, but if you look over here, I have lots of little strands like that all over. I was getting a lot more of the little strands, particularly towards the beginning of my journey, and less of the larger clumps. And let me tell you something, I wasn't about to sit there and finger twirl each and every little strand. So I really did want it to get clumpier, and I would put pieces of lots of these little guys together just to make it easier to, so I wouldn't have to do so many little finger curls. They didn't always cooperate with each other, however, and but now I'm seeing them clump together more. I'm getting bigger clumps even on this side. This is my disagreeable side of my hair. I'm not sure if you can tell that, but it is the disagreeable side of my hair. I am getting, even on this side, I'm getting more larger clumps, so I'm starting to see that more. Makes it easier for me to finger curl, gives me much better curl when it's dry. I don't end up with a lot of like this, what's going on over on this side. I'm hoping that eventually this side and this side will agree and be the same. Next, for the finger curling, I had started to section it in a sense. I don't do defined parts for those sections, but I do take my fingers and run them through. I would run it through from about my crown all the way down the back, split it down the side, and then I would have a triangle up in front here that I would do towards the front so that I could finger curl, and I would clip each two of the sides up and do the side, and then put the next one down, do it, and then do the final side. What I am finding nowadays is that it is more naturally falling into those sections, so I don't have to fight it so much to get it to part the way I want it to. One of the reasons I was doing that is because this side tends to look like it has less hair. So I was trying to bring more hair over. And the other thing is that putting it up in the clips just made it easier to deal with. The clips help just keep everything out of the way while I'm working on the one side. And once the one side is finger curled, I can just let it sit while I go work on the other side. And I have less, you know, sometimes you will put something in a ponytail and then, or something, and then you'll go and try to grab from the other side, and all of a sudden stuff is coming out from the one you just did. I'm having less of that going on. So it is falling into those sections more easily, although last night I didn't use those sections at all. I just threw my head over, finger curled it, and plopped it. But it is making it easier to do that finger curling, and the fact that it's falling into those sections so quickly, actually, because I've only been doing that for a week or two, maybe a little longer. That is makes it just a lot easier for me to actually do my hair at night. When I first started finger curling and doing all this stuff, I was using a mirror to try to figure out where everything was. Because it's clumping better, because it's falling into those sections better, I'm finding it easier to just by touch find the clumps without having to use a mirror to find the clumps. I'm not having to use a mirror to do the finger curling as much, which again, it makes it easier because I don't have a mirror on the floor, and I tend to have my head down and over to when I do all this. So just to give it more lift at the root. That's what I'm trying to work on, is get more lift at the root. So I'm not having to do that because of its clumping better. Like I said, on this side, we're not getting quite as good yet. I'm hoping it'll get there. Yeah, it's been easier to find those without having to actually look for them. So my hair is actually starting to, I guess, essentially do what it's supposed to do versus the complete freak out frizz thing it used to do before I started taking care of it. When I first started finger curling, the curls themselves, well, first of all, it was a lot harder to curl. I initially tried to follow the natural curl pattern. However, I have on both sides of my head, I can curl forward, except for one little section like back in here where I would have to curl backwards. And trying to find that section was proving to be annoying. So now I'm training it all to curl forward, to do it the way, to make it just easier on me. But even when I was curling according to the natural direction of my hair, initially I wasn't seeing a lot of actual twirl when I let go of it. And so they weren't holding together, and it was more difficult to actually curl them, and I would have to curl them 2 or 3 times to actually get any spiral there. I'm having to do that less. I do have a couple of spots where I do have to do the finger curl more than once to actually get a spiral. Most of it's in the front, but I think I've mentioned that this section here is the difficult part of my hair. It has been the part of my hair that, as you can see, it's a little straighter. Well, mostly. It has been. Last night's water thing seemed to help. But it's tended to be a little straighter than the rest of my hair. It tends to be straighter even when it's wet. I would finger curl it, and it would kind of sort of twirl up, and then it would just fall flat and straight again. So this area of my hair has been the most difficult to get to spiral the way I like. It is getting better. It still tends to fall more flat. I still have to fight it to get this kind of curl to some degree. But overall, everything is starting to be a little easier. The curls, the finger curls are spiraling better. I'm getting better spirals, particularly for my hair underneath and in the back. I'm getting much better spirals when I finger curl. Not so much on top, but I am getting much better in the back. So I'm hoping that eventually the top will cooperate as well. And they are holding together better, and I'm not having to do them 2 or 3 times to get them to hold together. I do have a gel that I used. I use my almond marshmallow serum as a gel. It actually works really well, which is nice because now I don't have to put out $30 on Diva Curl. But yeah, they are starting to hold together well. And that's partly why you're seeing more of these spirals in my hair, at least down here. Up here, I'm just still having issues, which is sad because up here is where the hair has, I've got at least an inch or 2 of hair up here that has not been exposed to, bad hair care, bad products, bad care, bad routine for the last 50 years. But the rest of it is starting to fall more in place. And hopefully as I keep saying that my hair is acting like it's transitioning. Now, I've never, for the last 50 years, well, last 30 years at least, I have not used curling irons. I have not used heated blow dryers. I've been using a blow dryer recently, but I keep it on the cool setting, or I use the cool shot. So I'm still trying not to use heat, but there are times that I'm finding that I really need to dry my hair a little more quickly, and my hair will take 4 to 5 hours to dry if I don't. But I wasn't using blow dryers before. I wasn't using flat irons. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. My idea of styling my hair has been what you guys have seen me do for when I'm doing my makeup, where I use a comb and just throw it up in the comb, and that has been it. I do have headbands, but I don't use them much. So I'm not sure. Normal transitioning from heat damaged, manipulated, damaged hair can take 2 years or more, around there. And my hair has been doing a lot of the things that I read that transitioning hair does. And it's going through a lot of those stages. So it's acting like it's transitioning, and I'm kind of hoping that if it is, a year from now, we are going to see, I'm not expecting the Joy Before Her, I think is the name of her channel, but I'm not expecting to see curls like hers, or those big, huge ringlets. I don't think my hair has that kind of curl. It's a much looser, more freestyle curl, I guess. And the fact that I've got these down here at all is just kind of surprising to me. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of these in my hair all over in a year from now, but I am hoping we are going to see more definition, that this side will be more agreeable to this side. We're going to see more fullness, and all of those things that you get towards the end of transitioning, less of this frizzy crap that I'm dealing with, less of the flyaways, that the clumping will be better, and it'll continue to just develop a better, more defined curl overall, even if it's not going to be, ringlets all over, which probably wouldn't look good on me anyway. Just probably wouldn't. As I mentioned, even the front part of my hair, which is the most difficult, which has been the straightest part of my hair, is starting to hold the curl better. It's starting to behave better. We still get some straight little waves in it. However, it is doing a lot. It is doing better. So that is working out as one of the changes in my hair. One of the most exciting things about the changes going on with my hair right now is, I think I've mentioned before, that my ends are really sensitive. They get dry very, very easily. Even when I use a really moisturizing shampoo, I will notice that my ends feel a lot drier. Even with like my Shea Moisture and stuff, I needed to have, for a while there, I needed to have the Garnier Whole Blends mask, the honey mask, to help with my ends. I'm not needing that as much now, and my ends are not, they're still more sensitive to dryness than the rest of my hair, but I am noticing that they are not as sensitive as they used to be. I can actually use a moisturizing shampoo as long as it doesn't have the isopropyl alcohol, and it is something that my hair overall really enjoys. I have found that I do not need to worry about my ends nearly as much. They are not drying out the way they used to, even from the shampooing. Yeah, so that is one of the more exciting things to me, because it was kind of frustrating to me to have to get another mask or something just for the ends of my hair. And as much as I recommend and like the Garnier Whole Blends Honey Mask, I'm kind of glad I don't have to spend money on it anymore. At least it doesn't seem like it. I might get a backup for days when masking my hair a little bit might be a good thing. But I've got some other masks now. I've got 2 Shea Moistures, and I've got a Miel mask that I'm using and I'm testing out and playing around with. But I have my Shea Moisture Manuka Honey and Mafura Oil mask, and if I'm in trouble, that really seems to get in there and really help my hair a lot. So that is something that I appreciate, that I don't need to do an extra thing just for my ends. Now, that's not to say that my ends don't sometimes feel dry. It really does seem to depend on the shampoo. Certain shampoos do seem to make them drier than, others. Even if the rest of my hair is happy with it. I haven't been experimenting, for lack of a better word, over the last few weeks or so, which also may have contributed to the fuzziness of my hair, with washing once every 3 days and not doing the co-wash in the middle. And my hair was definitely behaving a little differently from that as well. And I'm definitely considering, I think I'm gonna go back to the way I was doing it, taking my shower every day and washing one day and co-washing the next. And on the days that I wash, I had stopped using conditioners and leave-ins, doing a pre-conditioning. I had stopped doing that. I think that also did not help with the frizziness, and I'm going to go back to doing that. Apparently, those things really, really help my hair, and I think using the conditioner in between the washes really helps my hair too. Keeps it soft and silky and happy, nourished, I guess. So a lot of times you'll hear from various hair gurus, only wash your hair once a week, just all these things that you should be doing, and in the end it comes down to your hair. I can't go once a week. The way my hair is, I would be a messy, greasy, it would just be ugly. It would be terrible. I have made it to 3 days, but by the 3rd day, my curl is a mess and my hair feels terrible. And yeah, so I can't go that long. I just can't. And I think there are a lot of people with my hair type who are probably trying to go a week and finding that it's an uncomfortable thing to do. Their hair just doesn't look good by the end of that. I would throw it up in a ponytail or something just to get it out of my way and not have to worry about it. And no, I'm not one of those people who's going to end up ever going to once a week on my hair. It just doesn't seem to work. So you've got to do what's right for your hair and not feel bad when someone tells you, well, you should only be washing your hair once a week at most. It depends on your hair. If you can get away with that, that's great. But I can't. It just doesn't work for my hair. It really doesn't. And I mean, I'm looking good. I really think I'm looking good. I'm learning to not look at other people's hair care routines nearly as much. The reason being, I'd see people only use 2 items. I'd see people use 3 items. Well, I use quite a bit more than that. And I was feeling like maybe I'm using too much on my hair, but when I touch my hair, I don't get any kind of film or anything. I don't feel product on my hair. So what I'm using is obviously working, and I cannot compare my hair to theirs. And basically what I need to do is, when I'm looking out for something, when I'm trying to learn something about how to care for my hair, get the tips and use those as a starting point, and then go from there and figure out what from that point actually works for my hair, which is what I'm finding out. So what do I use in my hair? I use the Shea Moisture Milk. I stopped using it for a little while, and now I'm back to using it, and I'm going to have to buy another bottle soon. But I water that down, and so it's a good thing I water it down, because it's kind of expensive for me to have to buy every 2 or 3 months. After that, I put in, let me think now, because I switched some things around recently. After that, I put in, well, I was putting in the Reshma oil. Well, let me phrase this. I was putting in the hair tonic, and then I switched that out eventually for the Reshma oil. And now I've moved the Reshma oil to the end of my process. So what goes in next is the curl plumper. Then goes my almond serum, which I'm using as a gel. And then goes my, right now, my Reshma oil. My Reshma oil has replaced the Pure Honey twisting cream. Can't remember the name of it. I'll list it down below. But I have noticed that the twisting cream from Pure Honey was helping for a while with the frizz and the flyaways. And then when winter hit, it wasn't helping nearly so much. The Reshma oil is supposed to help with that. Plus, it's an oil which is supposed to help seal everything in. So I've moved it to the end to put that frizz fighting stuff towards the end, plus also to seal everything I've put into my hair in my hair with that oil. And then I finger curl and plop. When I'm refreshing, right now what I'm using is I use water with a little bit of the Shea Moisture Milk mixed into it. I mean, I have a water bottle, and I just put in like a little drop of the milk, and I mix that up. That's what I use to get my hair wet, just to add some moisture to the water I'm using. I'm using the Miel pomegranate leave-in because it also has frizz fighting, and I find the second day when I'm refreshing my curls is when my frizz starts to get the worst. So I get it wet, I add that, and then I also will use the Shea Moisture Curl Enhancing Smoothie. I have this one here for when I'm doing something here and I notice that my clips or whatever has flattened out my hair. I will use this here, and then I have a big tub in the bathroom. So that's what I use for refreshing my curls. And with the moisture smoothie and the pomegranate smoothie, I don't actually rake it through. I just sort of scrunch it in a bit. I don't get my hair soaking wet when I'm refreshing. So they're mostly just to help fight whatever is going on with frizz and overnight hair that we all get. So I'm finding that those processes are actually really helping with what you're seeing today. And like I said, now I know to make sure my hair is really, really wet when I put my product in. So that is helping. I'm really excited to see where the next year is going to go for my hair. I really am. I will insert a picture of what my hair used to look like a few years ago when it was long, and how fuzzy and undefined it was. I mean, I still feel like in some ways I have a triangle on my head because we're flat up here and really full down here. But at least it's a triangle with some defined, beautiful curl. Whereas before, it was just fuzzy. It was just fuzzy. You'll see. Take a look. Take a look. Alrighty, so I know this is not one of the most thrilling things. People seem to like my curl box unboxing. They don't seem to like my empties or my other hair discussion videos too much. Okay, it's fine. Not a lot of products in this one, but I did want to say where we're at right now and do the measuring, and then hopefully we'll see how far we've come in a year from now. Really looking forward to that. Anyway, so I hope you like what you've seen, and if you're new here, I hope you will subscribe. And if you do subscribe, I hope you will hit that notification bell so you know when I upload next. If you're part of my notification squad, oh yes, you need to check your bells because we are still getting our notification bells knocked off. So that's it for today, and if you don't subscribe, I still hope that you will come back again because you're always welcome. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. It's a good tea. I will say it is cooling off. I do not think that this would be a good cold tea. Something is mellowing out the sweetness of it just a little bit. So, but other than that, I'm getting more of the chamomile and the lavender and stuff in it now too. Less of the lemon. So, really good tea though. I like this one. I'm going to have to think about buying a box one of these days. Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, you all have a great day.